Hey, welcome to the Leadership Lab podcast, where we are developing the heart and soul of leaders. I'm Bianca.
My name is Jeremiah, and today we're going to talk from the subject of moving from being served to serving others. And I want to kind of launch from this idea. I don't know about you, but recently our online shopping activity has just gone up because, you're getting out less. You don't want to expose yourself less to the potential of, getting a virus or anything like that. And so we've just been shopping online. I'm assuming, it's been like that in your household. I think yesterday we were sitting there and we saw the Amazon guy come bringing 4 packages.
I was saying, I don't think he's happy with us. And Jeremiah was saying, I think he's used to that. Like
I think there are other people who are getting multiple packages delivered. I hope so. I hope that we're not the anomaly. But, the whole online shopping experience is made a lot better with free shipping.
Hey,
how many of you just can lift up your hand and say,
that's everything.
Do you hate paying for shipping? Whenever there's shipping costs, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you're gonna charge me. Hello, it's 2020.
In the middle of a pandemic.
I want free shipping.
Yeah.
I mean, just whatever it takes, get me there. If I got to do a $25 minimum, $50 minimum, hey, give me some kind of option to get there. Don't make me pay for it. There was actually one of these kind of moments where Jesus got really disappointed by something, and he actually, really kind of got everybody together. We got to talk about this. It's located in the book of Matthew, chapter 20. And in verse 21, here's the moment that Jesus realized that he's going to have to pay for shipping. There's this kind of disappointment that hit him right here, okay? It says this, that the scripture just says, "What is it you want?" Jesus asked. And she said, "Grant that one of these 2 sons of mine may sit at your right and the other at your left in your kingdom." And so what happened is Jesus began to call a meeting together. I don't know if you've ever heard this terminology used, a come to Jesus meeting. This was the very first come to Jesus meeting. And they're literally coming to Jesus.
Literally.
Literally. He is here. I'm Jesus.
Yep.
Come to me. And he basically had to rectify or make things right that was broken, that wasn't operating the way his kingdom wants to operate. And that is, he expected his disciples to be postured in a way that they're leading others toward him and not toward their own self-serving leadership.
That's good.
And this is what we're going to talk about today, because we're going to move from a worldly example of people serving themselves to an example that Jesus himself set for us, where we are serving others.
Yes. And so when you look at leadership, you can't listen to the culture around you about how the model should be, because there's this definition of success, that success is when you make it to the top, everyone is there to serve you. Well, the way Jesus is calling us to lead and the way that he's modeled for us, when you get to the top, you serve everyone else.
That's it.
It's an upside down, flipped idea of leadership. It's saying, hey, when I go up in the pyramid, I lose my responsibility. I gain responsibilities and I lose my rights, basically. Saying, hey, you know what? I don't live for myself anymore. Maybe I get less sleep than others because I got to wake up early. I got to work late because I'm serving other people. And even though it seems like, man, that's a big calling to say, hey, as a leader, I'm going to give my life to serving others. It is where you truly feel fulfilled. When you are living life to be served, and you, instead of serving those that you're working with, if you're barking orders, like, that's not a fulfilled life. And so this is what we're called to. And the heart of having a servant's heart, it comes from humility. And so as a leader, if we're going to serve people and those around us, we have to have this spirit of humility that we put on every day. And because we're human, every single day, we've got to put on humility. We've got to put it on multiple times a day. Listen, as you grow in leadership, there are going to be moments that someone's going to say something, someone's going to do something. And in that moment, you can react, or you can humble yourself, respond in a respectful way, and help lead people to the next place.
And listen, humble leaders are attractive.
Yes, they are.
people want to be around a humble leader because humility is literally making yourself lower than other people. It's not thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less.
That's it.
You're just thinking more about how you can leverage your own influence to benefit those around you. And what's interesting about this is Peter saw this lived out in the life of Jesus. He was one of the disciples of Jesus. At the Last Supper, Jesus takes off his outer garments, which would have signified his rabbi. It was his title, and he put on a towel. So he took off his title and he put on a towel. And that's what we're called to do as leaders, is we're called to serve people with the towel of humility, building other people up. It's a heart thing. It's something that God's got to do in our heart. And listen, here's what Peter said. This is what Peter wrote in 1 Peter chapter 5. He says this. He says that you need to clothe yourself with humility.
Yes.
So Jesus literally did this for Peter. And so Peter then is writing his letter to Christians and says, hey, I got to see this in action, guys. Yeah. Jesus, he clothed himself with humility. When you clothe yourself with humility, what you're doing is you're showing outwardly that God's already done this humility work in my heart, and now I'm showing other people through the way I treat them.
Yes.
When you clothe yourself with humility, you are literally saying, I'm here to serve you.
Yes.
My whole leadership, lifestyle, example, posture, words, everything I'm doing is to serve you, to make you better.
Yeah.
And in doing that, I'm going to fulfill the mission that God sent me on.
And so what that looks like, Peter, he got to see Jesus meet a need in his life. So King of Glory gets on his knees.
Wow.
Takes off his rabbi garments, puts on the clothes of a servant, and says, okay, Peter, your feet need to be washed, because this is Bible times, like their feet were gross, okay? And he washed his feet and cleansed him because they're about to approach the table to eat together. And so that was a need. So as a leader, practically, what does that actually look like? We look around and we see the needs of those around us.
The needs.
And we take our time and we choose to spend it serving those needs. So it's not like, hey, I'm just going to, and this is how you add value to people. You know, when you see their need, not just doing random nice things, but instead it's like, I see Sharon and I see that she needs this. So I'm going to spend my time serving Sharon in this specific way because that's her specific need. And what it does is it tells people that they too have value, that they're special and they have a calling. But this is a calling here. This is not something that we can fake, because we all have flesh. We like getting accolades. We like getting credit. And we have to fight that daily to say, no, you know what? Life's not about me. And I'm not living so I can be rich one day. I'm not living just to check something off my list. No, I'm living to make a difference.
Yes.
I'm living to make an impact. And so that's what will wake you up in the morning. That's what will get you up early while everybody else is sleeping. It'll get you out of the bed, because now you have this call on your life that I'm not just getting up to go to my 9-to-5 job and getting my paycheck on Friday. No, you can have that job, but watch God use you in a powerful way to just impact the lives of those around you.
And that's like the whole purpose of our whole lives, is to be like Jesus.
Yes.
And so take this message of humility to heart.
Yes.
In fact, I want to give you some ways that you can begin to grow in your humility before people, before God. And it really starts in your heart. And it's the heart and soul of leadership is what we talk about here. This is the heart issue of humility. And so we're going to go a little deep here for just a second. So just kind of go with us. The first way is to begin to allow humility and selflessness to be the priority of your heart.
Yes.
So just think about that. Wake up every day. Pray a prayer of humility. Get on your knees before the Lord when you're praying. That's a humble posture. It's one of those practices that's just really important. The second thing is see the needs of the people around you and meet those needs. So go find people that have need in their life and go and do that. That's humbling yourself.
Yes.
So humble yourself before the Lord, before people, and watch how God begins to elevate you and increase your leadership. And then the last thing is spend more time giving to others than you're giving to yourself.
It's good.
Spend more time giving time away to other people rather than just time on yourself. The world around us, listen, the world around us is just like James and John's mom when she came to Jesus and said, hey, let them sit at your right and your left in your kingdom. And Jesus said these words back to his disciples. He said, listen, the rulers of this world, the Gentiles, they lord it over people. He said, not so with you. Matthew chapter 20, verse 26. Not so with you. You need to have a not so with you moment in your own heart.
Yes.
Confront that pride that's been holding you back.
Yes.
Let the Lord bring that humility in your heart and watch how God begins to elevate you. Peter said it like this, 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 6. He says, humble yourself, therefore, before the Lord under his mighty hand, and he will lift you up in due time.
That's it.
So listen, if you do the hard work of humble, God's going to do the miraculous work of exalting us.
Yes.
And he's going to do it in your life.
So good. That's so good. Well, I've so enjoyed our conversation today. There's so much to think about, so much to react to and respond to in this. We'd love to hear what God is speaking to you and how he's working through your leadership. We know that he is impacting lives because you're laying yourself down for others. And we know that this world is going to be changed through your leadership. Tell us about it. Hey, share this podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today here on the Leadership Lab.